Now, Kobe and LeBron use math every time they slam dunk a ball. If you fail to master math, your aspirations will fall. Mathematics is more powerful than a fist or a gun. Black people created math. You better recognize my son. Peace. All right, I want you to welcome you to the Math Doctor Workshop. Get your math on. Are you ready to get your math on? Oh, you sound kind of dead. Are you ready to get your math on? Yes, sir. That's still dead. Are you ready to get your math on? Oh, yeah. Hopefully, after this is over, you'll want to get your math on because you're going to see. I'm going to take you through a fantastic voyage and show you everything you like, everything you can think about, everything you want to be requires math. You can't get away from it. Then I'm going to put out a challenge to anybody in here. If you can name me something that doesn't have math in it, I will give you something. So go ahead and put that in your mind. I'll get to that later on, all right? But math is involved in everything. Let's get started. Now, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, a people who do not know mathematics will always be subject to a people who know mathematics. Mathematics is extremely important. Now, how many of you can name me 5 black rappers? Put your hand in there. You ain't even got to do it. I know you can do it. Name me 5 black rappers. Put your hand if you can do that. Put your hand in the air if you can do that. You mean to tell me you all can't name me 5 black rappers? All right, put your hand down. How many of you can name me 5 black NBA stars? Put your hand in there if you can do that. Everybody put it in the air. Wave it to the side like you care. Very good. How many of y'all can name me 5 black comedians? Put your hand in the air. Wave it to the side like you care. All right. How many of y'all can name me 5 black mathematicians? Put your hand in the air. That's a shame. Do you see? Quickly, you can name me rappers, entertainers, sports figures, and comedians, but none of y'all can name me 1 black mathematician. That is atrocious. So when you in your math class and you don't see no black people learning math, what does that tell you? Maybe that's something we can't do. So maybe you tuned out of it. But you ain't got no problem wanting to be a ball player. You ain't got no problem wanting to be a rapper and a comedian and an actor, right? And a thug maybe, because you see us doing that. But do you know that there are black mathematicians? Do you know that we created math in the first place? Now, when you flip through your math textbook, do you see any of us in it as mathematicians? You don't. That's why you can't name me 5 black mathematicians. I'm going to put some on the screen right now, and I want you to remember these people, all right? So the next time I see you and I say name me 5 black mathematicians, you can name me 10. 1 is Ron Milkins, David Blackwell. You remember Benjamin Banneker during February, during Black History Month. You heard about him, right? He's the one that designed Washington, D.C. He's the one that made up an almanac, but he was also a mathematician and an astronomer. There's Ernest Wilkins, Kelly Miller, and my mentor and teacher, Dr. Abdul Aleem Shaban. You don't even know these people. And some of you say, I could care less about knowing them. But you got to know that you are mathematics and you brought math on the planet. When we go to Egypt and we study the pyramids, do you know that it's called one of the 7 wonders of the world? Why you think it's called that? Because they wondering how the heck we did it. We had a higher form of mathematics than this world knows anything about. Yes, the black man and woman did. That's how we built those pyramids. Me and my wife went to Egypt, touched the pyramid, and grabbed some of the sand from the Great Pyramids. We built them. Wasn't paint people, wasn't aliens, it was us. Because when you go to Egypt and look in the pyramids and look in the hieroglyphics, these are black people, like you and I. So don't tell me I can't learn math, but yet you brought math on the planet. Something's wrong with that. Don't tell me I can't learn math, but I love myself. Because you are mathematics yourself. Did you know that? Every time you wake up and look in the mirror, you're looking at math. How do you know? Because you got 206 bones, right? You got 9 systems in your body controlled by one called the brain. Any of those systems get out of whack, your whole body gets out of whack. Do you know that you have a certain width to your artery that allows the blood to flow at a particular speed? All that's math. If the width gets too small, what happens? You get a heart attack. You get a heart disease, right? If the blood pumps too fast, then you get heart problems. So don't tell me I love myself, but I hate math. That's a contradiction. Because every time you look in the mirror, you're looking at walking mathematics. Now, let's go to the next slide. Math is universal. Everything you can think of requires mathematics and uses math. You just weren't taught this in your class. Did you have anybody that brought this to you like I'm bringing it to you right now? Did Mr. Steinberg, Miss Jones bring it to you like this? that you are mathematics, that everything you can think about is math. Well, I'm going to break it down to you. Math is involved in all these fields. First of all, how many of y'all like to eat? Put your hand in there if you like to eat. Some of y'all not putting your hand up. That's a shame. Let me deprive you of food for a month and see if you got your hand up later. All of you like to eat. You like to get your grub on. Is that correct? Do you know that the person that made the food is a mathematician? Anybody cooking here, put your hand high in the air. Very good. I cook also. If you cook, you using mathematics. How do you know? You got to cook at a particular temperature. Is that right? You got to cook the food for a particular amount of time. You got measurements involved in the recipes. If you've ever seen a recipe before, you got fractions. You got mixed numbers. All that's involved in making food. But you all don't worry about that. You just want to put it in your mouth and put it in your stomach. But somebody had to use some math to get it to your table. Math is involved, food is involved in percentages. Look at the back of any food. It's got what? Nutritional information. How much percentage of carbohydrates? How much percentage of sugar? You need to know all that. Because some of us act bamboozled and discombobulated because we're putting too much sugar in our brain. All that's mathematics. The beautiful appearance of food comes from what? Geometry, symmetry. See? But y'all don't appreciate the beauty of it. You just grab it, stuff it, and eat it. But that food comes to your table at that beautiful restaurant looking real good. Is that right? How does it do that? I will get back to that in a minute. How does it do that? They use geometry. Now, do you know somebody was sitting in a math class and they came up with an invention that most of you all may not know who did it, but you use it when you go to McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, and so forth. I'm talking about the fry machine. Used to make fries like some of y'all do old school. You take the fries, you cut the potatoes up, throw them suckers in that big black pan, right? And pray that it don't burn. But somebody was in a math class and a science class and said, hey, I can design a machine that makes the fries come up golden brown every time. Every time you go to McDonald's, aren't the fries the same? Burger King. You never get a bunch of burnt fries, wormy fry. They always golden brown. Why? Because somebody was in a math class and they developed a fry machine. Now, that fry machine is all over the world. Do you think this person is poor or rich? I want to hear you. Is this person poor or rich? They're rich because they use their what? Mathematics. And they invented something that now every restaurant uses in order to make them fries golden brown. That's using your mathematics in the proper term. Moving along. Look at the beauty of this food. All that is geometry. Look at the squares, the cubes. These are called concentric circles. You see? All that's mathematics. So a caterer, a chef, needs to know some math. Anybody in here want to be a chef? Put your hand in there. We got a brother in the back. We got a brother here. You got to get your math on, my brothers. Because you got to design that food where it's appetizing and it looks pretty. All that's geometry. Let's move on. Now, here's some of the devices that they use to make food. A stove. Does a stove need math? Hey, you got to know what temperature to put it on. You got to make sure you don't put it on too long or too short, right? These are called what? Measuring cups. Measuring cups are fractions, you see? And some of you scared of fractions. But you told my mom, I want a cake, but I hate fractions. But mom got to use that to make the cake. So she's using math. These are measuring cups. Look at the fractions. Don't be scared of them. Look at them. So every time you eat, you're eating mathematics because somebody had to have math in order to make that food. Is everybody all right? All right, let's move to the next thing. Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you don't like food. So let's go to the next category. How many of y'all like sports? Put your hand in the air. We're in the right place at the right time. We're at the Boxing Athletic Club. How many boxers in the house? How many football players? Basketball players. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Now, all y'all with your hand up that plays a sport, all of y'all should have an A in math. I'll give you a B. But don't tell me I'm a boxer, but I got a D in math. Something wrong with that. Don't tell me I shoot hoops, but I got an F in math. Because in order to play any sport you can name me, math is required.